Hello, I'm Charlotte and this is Books and Bargains. I'm coming to you today with my April anticipated releases. Now this was meant to come to you last Wednesday. I am still not well. Any of you that have chronic illness will know what it's like. I came down, I was in a kind of, I would say medium flare. So a flare that I could deal with if I was careful, and then I got this cold, and if you watch my weekly vlogs you will see at the end of last week's vlog I was just not good. I don't know if you can hear right now, the birds are tweeting outside my window and it just makes me really excited for spring, but I keep going hot and cold, so I have layered up this morning. I am literally filming this now at, what time is it? 12:20, and I am hoping to get this, what is going on here? Ugh. I'm hoping to get this edited, uploaded for 6 p.m. tonight, but I might just go and sleep. It is also Nana's 97th birthday today, so I'm hoping that I will be fueled on cake. So let's just get into it. I'm sure you didn't come here to hear me rambling. So what I've decided to do, I used to make these videos all the time and I used to put a lot of research in to see all the different books that were coming out in different genres, and it got a bit too much for me. So instead what I'm doing now is I'm just keeping an eye out. I hope this bit of hair isn't driving you as crazy as it's driving me. This is the natural curly girl life. Anyway, so what I've decided to do is just to keep an eye out on authors that I have read before and loved, or debuts that are coming out, or just anything that really catches my eye. As you all will probably know by now, I'm a pretty eclectic reader, but what I tried to do before was to just pull books from all the genres that I enjoy, whereas now these are books that right now in this moment I am really excited about. And yeah, let's just get straight into it. I have two of these books that have been kindly sent to me by publishers, but were already kind of on my radar before they reached out. And so let's get into the books. So the first book that I want to talk about is Hotshot by Claire Lydon. If you see me looking down, I have written notes. Now this is out on Claire's own eShop on the 7th of April, which is Friday. And then Kindle and Kindle Unlimited on the 17th. I don't know when this one is going to be out in paperback, but does this cover not just give you Bend It Like Beckham vibes? I was watching a video the other day. If I can find it, I'll link it below. But it was talking like... Actually, do you know what? I say I was watching a video. It could have been an article. It could have been a video. It was during my kind of complete brain fog when I was really unwell at the end of last week. And it was about movies from the 90s that should have been queer, and one of them was Bend It Like Beckham, and this I think is going to be the bookish equivalent. Claire Lydon is a fantastic lesbian romance author, and I think I haven't read enough sapphic romance this year, so this one stood out to me. I've written here Bend It Like Beckham vibes. Main character has it all, or does she? Life falling apart and the new hire comes to pick up the pieces. So what more can I say about that? This was written by Charlotte pre-Flare. This was meant to go up like 2 weeks ago so that you could have it in advance. But actually, I think if I get this up tonight, none of these books will be released yet. So we'll still be on track if you want to pre-order them. I've been trying to pre-order more books recently because I know that it really helps the author, but also, as I've mentioned before, budgets are a bit tighter in this household, so these are kind of, if I had unlimited funds, I would definitely pre-order all these books. Then on April the 13th, we have Don't Believe the Hype by Natalie Lewis, and this will be released in paperback, Kindle and audio. All I needed to know about this one is that Natalie Lewis is a debut author who has worked in fashion PR, and this book screams Devil Wears Prada at me. Devil Wears Prada is one of my comfort films. You know, the ones that you can watch again and again and again and again. and not get bored. Devil Wears Prada is one of those. Even though I do 100% agree that the portrayal of Andy Sachs as the fat girl is completely problematic, don't shoot my little nostalgic heart. So this book says, meet Frankie Marks, the world's least likely fashion PR. She got the job by fluke. She doesn't know the first thing about designers, and she never thinks before she speaks. When Frankie crash lands into the prestigious GGC agency, her friends and family can't believe it, least of all her long-term and long-suffering boyfriend. Frankie is determined to prove her worth, but first she needs to learn the difference between velvet and velour. As the pressure builds and Frankie's personal life is in jeopardy, she begins to wonder if she'll ever escape this glamorous, chaotic world, and quite frankly, does she even want to? So I am really looking forward to getting into that one, and thank you so much to the publishers for sending me a copy. And then another debut coming to you on the 20th of April is Somewhere in the Crowd by Katrina Logan, and this is coming out in paperback, Kindle and audio. I very kindly received a copy of this via NetGalley and meant to read it last month, and story of my life, I didn't. But this one is perfect for Eurovision fans. Millie and James absolutely love the Eurovision, and so they managed to get tickets to the final. They get caught up in something and get kicked out, along with a German singer, Ingrid, and an Australian, Noah. They then reunite for every final, and it says, spans years. Can the magic of Eurovision bring them back one more time? I love books that span years and years and years. One of my favourite books of recent years was Eva Carter's How to Save a Life, and that did the same thing. We followed the same characters throughout years of their lives, and I think this is going to be the same. I don't know if I mentioned this is a debut, so again, looking forward to reading that. My biggest intention is always to read these books that I get via NetGalley the month before they're published, but with the way my health has been recently, I haven't been able to read physical books or Kindle books. My head has been too fuzzy, so I've been reading audiobooks, and generally don't seem to get them as an advanced reader copy. It is generally NetGalley, Kindle or paperback. Let's just track back here. I have messed up my numbers on this because there was a book that came to me very last minute, and I am still waiting for my copy to arrive, but that is Arthur and Teddy Are Coming Out by Ryan Love. It's a debut out on April the 13th in Kindle, audio and hardback, and this book sounded absolutely gorgeous. Now, the only way I can think from what I've read of it is that it is a bit like Beth O'Leary's The Switch, in that it follows a grandfather and I think young guy in his teens or 20s, and the grandfather comes out as gay after living his life as a straight man by all intents and purposes, and at the same time his grandson Teddy is also thinking about coming out, but after his grandfather does it, he's a bit taken aback by some of the family's reactions, and it's about their relationship and how they navigate this together, and I just think it sounds absolutely gorgeous. I am going to be on I'm not sure whether it's a blog tour or just a publication day kind of party on Instagram on this on the 13th of April, so check out my Instagram for more details then. So also on the 13th of April is a book that I tried my absolute hardest to get a proof of, to get on the blog tour, to get anything, and was just rejected on all accounts, and that is Heidi Swain's The Book Lovers Retreat. Now, anybody that has watched this channel for a while will know that I'm a big advocate of how cosy and comfy Heidi Swain's books are, and everybody always asks me where to start, and I always say to them to start at the beginning with a Cherry Tree Cafe, but I know that some people don't really want to invest themselves in a full series, and this is Heidi Swain's first standalone novel, so I'm looking forward to seeing what I make of that. So it's three friends that spend 6 weeks in a cottage that was the setting of their favourite film, and it doesn't say this anywhere, and obviously it's a summer, not a winter, but I'm picturing like the cottage from The Holiday, what I would feel like going to spend the summer there. One of the friends drops out at the last minute and her space is offered to another, it says, hopefuls aficionado. Will the summer strengthen friendships and change them? And I really I really am looking forward to this book because I love Heidi Swain. Heidi Swain can do no wrong in my opinion. And yeah, I have that pre-ordered. So hopefully when it lands through my door, I will feel up to reading, or I may just have to go and buy the audiobook as well. So then we jump forward to April the 27th, and on April the 27th, the paperback of Idol by Louise ONeill is coming out. I have read this one, I have loved this one, it was in my top books of 2022. The basic premise of Idol is that our main character Samantha is a wellness guru, and she ruffled a few feathers by talking about how young girls should be more chaste and how chastity was a virtue, even though she said that that wasn't how she grew up. She's also done a lot of work around sexual assault survivors and believing the victims. She then pens an article for I think it's an online newspaper, so I'm thinking like the kind of like BuzzFeeds of the world, where she talks about a sexual experience that she had in her hometown when she was 17 or 18, a sapphic relationship that she had, and she talks about how that meant a lot to her. However, her publicist then gets an email from the girl in question saying that's not how I remember it. From what I remember, Samantha took advantage of me. And the whole book kind of explores those two points of view and how some things can be muddled when we look back at them, and about how obviously Samantha had no right, although she didn't mention Lisa in the article, coming from a small town where her and Lisa were best friends and were known around the town to be best friends, the way that that then impacts Lisa's life as well. I think her name's Lisa, don't quote me on that. And yeah, really enjoyed it. I haven't thought, I've read, I think I've read 4 Louise ONeill books now. I've still got a couple of her backlist to go, but I've never been disappointed by one, so just wanted to point that one out to you. Also on the 27th, another NetGalley arc that I have and haven't read yet is Preloved by Lauren Bravo. That's available in hardback, Kindle and audio, and it is her fiction debut. Lauren Bravo is the author of How to Break Up with Fast Fashion, which I still to this day highly recommend if it is something that you're interested in knowing more about. It's a really non-judgmental, easy read. She's also quite funny. She has another non-fiction book called What Would the Spice Girls Do, which I have on Audible to listen to at some point. So in this book we're following Gwen, who is lonely and in her mid-30s, and it said online, which I thought was lovely, it said, starts where all things get a second chance, charity shops. Now you know how much I love charity shops, and actually I was disappointed earlier in the year. I was reading Libby Page's The Vintage Shop of Second Chances, and that didn't give me all the feels. And also a few years ago I read The Nakano Thrift Shop, again didn't give me the feels that I thought this one would. Only one that has got close, one of the story arcs in Beth O'Leary's The No Show, works in a charity shop, and that gave me the feels. So it says lovingly celebrating the enduring power of charity shops, and I hope to get to that one soon. And last but by no means least is another book that I'm on the book tour for, and this is Found in a Bookshop by Stephanie Butland. If you remember, I read Lost for Words last year and absolutely fell in love with our main character Loveday. Now this follows Loveday and her Lost for Words bookshop during COVID lockdowns. As you can see, I have started reading it, but I'm not very far through yet. At the moment we're following a couple of different people and the power of books, and I think that's going to be a theme throughout. It says Loveday Caradew's beloved Lost for Words bookshop, along with the rest of York, has fallen quiet. At the very time when people most need books to widen their horizons, escape from their fears or enhance their lives, the doors are closed. Then the first letter comes. Rosemary and George have been married for 50 years. Now their time is running out. They've decided to set out on their last journey together without ever leaving the bench at the bottom of their garden in Whitby. All they need is someone who shares their love of books. Suddenly it's clear to Loveday that she and her team can do something useful in a crisis. They can recommend books to help with the situations their customers find themselves in. Fear, boredom, loneliness, the desire for laughter and escape, and so it begins. And like I say, I have read 34 pages of this one, and I'm already going to call this a 5-star prediction because I can't see it being any less than a 5-star from what I've read so far. So there you have it. That is my whistle-stop tour through some of the books that I am anticipating in April. Have you got any of these on your radar, or are there any that you will pick up now that I've spoken about them here? Please do let me know below, and let me know which books you're anticipating for April. Please do continue to give my videos a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Just your little thumbs up shows me that someone is there and someone is watching all these rambles. And until next time, look after yourselves. Bye.